What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chef Ganja. Now, they call me Chef Ganja because, well, I make awesome edibles. Not bragging, just I have a culinary background, so I've used that to make edibles even better. So, so today we're making some edibles. I've got some in the works right now. We got our weed in the oven right now. It's decarbon right now, so it doesn't have too much longer to decarb. So yeah, you got to decarb your weed before you cook with it, unless you're gonna cook your weed before you cook with your weed. If that makes sense. So if you're using just straight bud, you got to make sure you decarb your weed. I'm not going to go through the process on decarbing. It's not complicated, but you should read about it. So I would look it up. I think Stoner Cookbook, I think they have a really good article on it. I can't, probably High Times probably has one. So yeah, you should definitely look into decarbing your weed if you're gonna cook with straight bud in your recipes. A good general rule of thumb is if you're cooking with straight bud, a pan of brownies, you should use about a quarter of straight bud, so 7 grams. 7 grams for a pan of brownies. So then you think about, if you're making like 2 dozen cookies, then you should probably use about a quarter as well. So because 2 dozen cookies would be about a pan of brownies. So think about it in terms of that, and then you can figure out how much straight bud you're using for your recipes. Normally, when I have access to trimmings and things like that, then I would make butter or coconut butter. I say butter with 2 D's, not 2 T's, because bud. So normally I would either make the... Hey! Keep that shit down. No, but normally I would make coconut bud or regular butter, and then I would cook with that. I find that's a more efficient way to make edibles. But right now I have bud. I don't have trimmings, so I'm making some peanut butter cookies. Yeah, y'all get out your pens and paper or whatever while you're watching this. Listen to this recipe. Write it down as I'm going. It's a really, really, really good recipe if you just want to make regular cookies. If you're just trying to make peanut butter cookies, this is a good way to go. But this is also a really good way to make weed cookies. So I'm making like a half and half batch. I'm only making 12 weed cookies, but I'm making 24 cookies total. I'm going to do half normal for when I want to eat a cookie and not be high. Because, you eat enough edibles, you'll be... Houston, yeah, yes, we have a problem. So anyway, get out something to write this down with, and then we'll go over the recipe for Not Your Mama's peanut butter cookies. Firm believer in mise en place. Mise en place. So I already have everything measured out ahead of time. That way it just makes it easier. This recipe is really simple. In this bowl, which is my mixing bowl, I have a half cup of brown sugar, half cup of white sugar, a half cup of butter, and a half cup of peanut butter. Alright, and this bowl is all my dry ingredients, which is a cup and a quarter of flour, a half teaspoon of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of baking powder, and then 2 eggs. So that's it, and the bud will be added in after the ingredients are incorporated together. Alright, well, the bud is ready to come out of the oven. It's been decarboxylating this whole time. I've got it double wrapped in foil, so it creates a nice, pretty good seal on it. You don't want to do plastic wrap on it. It's a low enough temperature too, but you just don't want to do it because you don't want to seal in all the moisture that does come out of the bud when you decarboxylate it. So I like to put this in the fridge after I decarboxylate it, and then I'll let it sit there and cool down for a little while, maybe about 20 minutes. Alright, so it's been cooling for a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and start mixing things while it's finishing up. Alright, well it's been cooling for about 10 minutes or so, so I'm going to go ahead and mix up my batter. Remember, in this bowl we had the butter, the peanut butter, the white sugar, and the brown sugar. Alright, so you gotta cream the... I'm just kidding. So you're creaming the butter, peanut butter, sugar, and the two sugars together right now. And I'm starting off slow. That's gonna make sure that I don't have stuff flying everywhere. Now it's all starting to incorporate, so I'll turn it up a little bit. I like the cream on about medium speed. That way you're not overworking it, because you don't want to start breaking down the sugars, but you definitely want to incorporate some air with the butter and the peanut butter. So I like to do medium speed for about a minute or two. Alright, well you should be able to see a color difference. So I'm going to turn it off. Well actually I'm going to turn it on low. I'm going to take my eggs, crack them in one at a time. And I don't recommend you cracking them directly into this thing. I've cracked quite a few eggs in my day, so I'm not really worried about it. But there's always a chance of shell if you're not careful. So, and nobody likes shell in their cookies. So let this go for like another minute with the eggs mixing in there. It doesn't take much. You can see that it's starting to get kind of ropey, which is really nice. Looks really tasty. Alright, so this has been mixing for a minute, and it looks really, really nice. That's what I'm looking for. It's nice and ropey. All the ingredients are nicely incorporated, nice light color. That light color is the air that's whipped into it. And the air is what's going to make these cookies nice and light. So, alright, now I have dry ingredients. I've already incorporated the dry ingredients together with a whisk. All I did was, you can sift it if you like. All I did was whisk it. That adds a little bit of air to the flour, and it incorporates the dry ingredients all together, so that way when you mix it, nothing gets mixed unequally. Alright, so we're going to add a little bit. And then incorporate. Do low speed. Okay, like that. Add a little bit more. I guess I'm adding in thirds. That's usually what I do. I usually like to add things in thirds. I think it's just because the number 3 is so great. Alright, so start it again. Okay, and then this is your last bit of flour. Oh, I made a mess. Hold on. I'm in love with the cocoa. Alright, so let it go low like that. I'll scrape the side, and then I'll let it mix for like one more minute. Alright, well this is what we have. This is our peanut butter cookie dough, and this is, I love this recipe because it's super light, it's super airy, they make fantastic cookies. So I'm going to divide this in half. I'm going to put 1/8 of wheat, and because that's all I'm using. So I'm going to put 1/8 in wheat in one of the halves, and the other half will be normal. If you're making a full recipe and you want to have all of it, you know, be marijuana cookies, then use a whole quarter for the whole recipe. But I'm only making half wheat cookies, so. Could definitely use a toke before that though. Alright, well, now we stir. Yeah, it's very nice. So what I did was I took and portioned them. Remember, the whole batch makes 24 cookies. So I portioned them, and then I rolled them in sugar. And then I just flattened the top of them with a fork. Real easy. So they're gonna go in 350 degrees for about 6 to 8 minutes. But if your oven takes longer, I'm going to do 7. If your oven takes longer, you need to make sure that you compensate for that. So make sure you watch them. 6 minutes is the longest that I would let them go without being checked on. All right, look at here. These are our cooked peanut butter cookies. Now, if you're used to peanut butter cookies, you should know that these are a little bit light for like normal ones. And that's because of all that air that we whipped into it. So they're really light colored, golden on the bottom. See? Once they cool, they're gonna be perfectly like just the right amount of chew and crisp and soft, and they're gonna be delicious. Right, and these are the finished weed cookies. These are them. You can see the little bits in there, right? If it's not all crispy. Come on, focus for me. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, share. Subscribe, like, share.